Welcome to Mosa, Lina, a game that describes itself as a hostile interpretation of the immersive sim. In summary, you use a random set of tools to solve a random set of puzzles. It's a very simple premise, but I think you'll find it's quite an engaging one. Let's start a run and see where things take us, shall we? While the game has had quite a few updates with new content, we're going to start with just the base game. Each run starts with a set of 9 tools being chosen for you, out of a pool of 24. From there, you're dropped into a random level out of a set of 9, and are tasked with solving the puzzle. Each level gives you 3 tools from your set to use, and you need to use them to touch all the fruit and get to the portal. Playing this game for the first time involves a lot of experimentation, as you encounter each new tool and discover what they do. Fortunately, there are plenty of simple tools that are easy to understand. Boxes can be stacked and used as platforms, rockets launch upwards when you step on them, bouncers are bouncy, so on and so forth. You'll inevitably die while testing out new tools or seeing how they interact with each other, whether it be through touching spikes or exiting the edges of the screen. When you die, you'll be randomly sent to another level in the same set, potentially even to the level you just died on. And every time you enter a level, whether through death or from finishing the last one, you'll get another 3 tools from your set, so each attempt is fresh and offers something new. Speaking of the tools, I want to go a bit more in depth on what they do and how they can be utilized. While the game has a total of 48 tools to pick from, I'm going to focus on just the first 24, since those tend to be the simplest and will set a good baseline for how the game works. A lot of the tools are used to give yourself more mobility, like the boxes, rockets, and bouncers I've already mentioned. Some tools have multiple uses, like the spears, which can stick into surfaces and cut ropes, or frogs, which can give yourself a vertical boost or can eat the fruit for you. There's also some more weird, off-the-wall sort of tools, like delete, which just deletes whatever is touching the X, including fruits, the exit portal, and even you. Then there's the phaser, which phases through objects and teleports you to the other side. The craziest tool by far is the gun, which launches your gun wherever you're looking. On the surface, it seems like just a good way to place tools and objects in spots you wouldn't be able to reach normally, but if you die while the gun is active, you'll teleport to wherever your gun currently is. There are tons of really clever plays that can be done by combining the gun with your other tools. There's a lot of strategy involved in using your tools in tandem with each other. Each level can be beaten in a variety of ways depending on what tools you have. Sometimes a level will be as easy as stacking boxes to reach the fruit, and in others you'll have to get creative, like using the explosive pomegranates to launch the fruit past the edge of the screen. Hell, I've even encountered stages that I can solve without using any tools. It's very satisfying to both craft a plan with your tools and execute it perfectly, and it feels even better to come up with something on the fly and beat the level on your first attempt. Though sometimes even seemingly foolproof plans can go awry with one easy mistake or curveball, like missing a jump or getting startled by a rolling spike ball. If anything, that just contributes to the sort of comedy this game has. There's something deeply funny about the game throwing you into the deep end immediately. I almost always start panicking as I try to save myself and get to a solid, safe surface, though I usually end up wasting a bunch of my tools to do that. Fortunately, wasting tools is lessened somewhat in the last stage of each set, which becomes much bigger and typically has blocks to swap out the tools you carry. If you manage to clear the full set of 9 levels, you'll enter a strange in-between zone. You can't do much in this zone, and it serves as a transition between level sets. Once you die in this zone, the game gives you another random set of tools and puts you in another random set of levels. The game doesn't really have an end. The more level sets you clear, the further in the transition zone you'll get. Once you beat 6 total sets, you'll get to walk down a long path that eventually ends in a void, and then you get to do it all again. Honestly though, this game doesn't need an end. It's just fun and satisfying on its own without any real objective. The transition area really just serves as a brief break and a chance to re-roll your tools. While there is a ton of variety in the game already, you can inject some more chaos and randomness by disabling Director's Cut. When Director's Cut is disabled, a bunch of new modifiers can be applied to levels, typically making them harder and requiring faster thinking to overcome them. However, sometimes these modifiers can be really beneficial depending on how they spawn. The most notable modifier is the turtle, which you must protect with your life. If the turtle falls off the stage, the portal turns into a tombstone and the level can't be beaten. It can die by touching spikes or explosive shots from turrets, but the portal will remain open. Then there's the worm, which falls from the top of the screen and latches onto the stage. It can be a real nuisance, but it can help you out by providing a ramp upwards. Just don't let it latch onto you. There's also the planet. This usually spawns close to the player and draws things in with its gravity. This modifier also likes to mess with you a lot, but you can get rid of it with a tool like Mobilize. Don't stand in its gravitational field when you do, though, or else you're likely to get dragged up with it. Lastly, there's a couple modifiers that just try to kill you. A spike ball might spawn directly above you at the start of the stage, or explosives might fall from the sky periodically while you're trying to grab the fruit. Fortunately, you do have a new ability to deal with these obstacles, a backflip. It sounds kinda useless, but it can give you more horizontal distance than a regular jump, especially if combined with certain tools. I mostly use it by accident though. These modifiers are pretty fun to mess around with, but I do tend to play without them on. I like to take my time with each stage and figure out a solution with the tools I have, and these modifiers tend to make me rush and try to beat the stage on the fly. If only I could have the backflip enabled by itself. Anyway, I mentioned earlier that there are 48 tools in the game, though I only focused on 24 of them. If you enable the second layer option, you get access to all 48. These extra tools are some of the wildest the game has to offer and make for some really insane solutions to puzzles. There are plenty of simpler ones, like the spring box, flower, and elevator, all of which are great at moving you upwards in various ways. The bottle is great at moving you in general, so long as you don't freak out while it's active. Some of the more complex tools include the rune, which creates a respawn point that moves opposite to you, and the shifter, which only moves things inside its range whenever you move. I also have to mention the clock, which grabs everything in a set radius and rotates it all either clockwise or counterclockwise. Though, I think one of my favorite tools are the ones that are pretty funny, namely the legs. It just spawns another pair of legs that you can ride on and use for a second double jump, 3 if you stack them. The last tool I'll describe is the cocoon, which is even crazier than the gun. It creates a cocoon wherever you shoot it, and then your gravity is flipped and you're moved to the underside of the platform. The flipped gravity remains until you die, at which point you'll respawn at the cocoon with normal gravity. It's wild to mess around with, and leads to plays you can only dream of with the original 24 tools. These tools are a ton of fun to mess around with, and offer even more variety into your runs. While many of them fill the same niche, they all operate in different ways and have their own mechanics and rules, which often requires you to use them differently. Like, sure, the rocket and elevator both raise you up, but the rocket can only be used 3 times and can be angled with careful movement, while the elevator travels a shorter distance and can be used infinitely so long as it doesn't leave its track. I'd say the only downside to having such a big pool of tools available is that you may see the same tool multiple times in a row, or never see a tool at all. Thankfully, the game has a reroll button that rerolls your tool set and stage set without erasing your progress to the transition zone, so we're free to reroll as much as we want until we get a certain tool. Now, while the game does have 48 tools, 360 total stages, and the modifiers from Director's Cut, sometimes you'll end up getting bored of the normal mode. At least I do sometimes. Luckily, there's more than one mode in the game. If you get bored with the main style, you can swap to Raw Random or Speedrun mode. Raw Random is effectively an arcade mode, where instead of using a set of tools to beat a set of levels, you instead use 3 completely random tools to beat completely random stages, with the goal of beating as many as possible without dying. It's very tough to get far in Raw Random, but it's still a lot of fun to throw a bunch of attempts at it. Every third stage is a big stage, so in those you'll have a couple more tools at your disposal, if you can reach them. I think so far my best score is 5 levels beaten in a row. Like I said, it's a challenging mode, but it's also a great way to spice up the gameplay loop. If speed is more your style, speedrun mode should be right up your alley. Speedrun mode is the same as the main mode, except all the menus are sped up and a timer in the bottom corner keeps track of your time. You can choose to do either a single set of 9 levels, or a full loop of 6 sets. There's also a seeded run option, in case you have a specific seed you want to improve at, or just don't want randomness in the speedrun mode. Personally, I don't really play speedrun mode that much. I like to take my time while beating each stage, thinking about how I can use my tools in tandem with each other, so needing to rush in order to get a good time is not my thing. I'm pretty sure my best time so far is like 3 minutes 55 seconds, something around there. I mentioned that there are 360 total stages, which is already a ton, but that's only counting the official stages. Mosa also comes with a level editor and support for the Steam Workshop, allowing people to make and share their own custom levels. There's simplistic levels, complex levels with lots of detail, levels focused on a specific tool, and even some crazy levels full of chaos. I'll share a few of my favorites. Some great simplistic level packs include Mosa Dinners and Mosa Vacations, which feature levels based on various kinds of dinners or vacation spots respectively. They're great to use alongside the official level packs, like a good side to a big meal. One of my favorite levels visually is Pillars, a unique level pack where every stage is connected to one another and forms a full scene when stitched together. If you're interested in messing around with specific tools, check out Mosa Test Chambers, a unique set of levels that restrict you to certain tools for specific puzzles. There's even some custom tool behavior with ladders, making them grow when multiple are used. For a more vanilla experience, there's the Tula Teacher series, 2 level packs that teach you how to use specific tools. They're especially handy for wrapping your head around the second layer tools. Lastly, if you want some extra chaos, there's plenty you can find. Mint Gamble is all gambling themed, typically starting you with no tools and requiring you to grab any you can find. One of my favorites is Boing, which has an excessive amount of bouncers. I of course have to mention Antimatter, which is a little hard to describe. It's pure chaos, through and through. With the amount of variety and extra content this game has, it's already a ton of fun to play solo, but it's even better in local and online multiplayer. The game's multiplayer is 2-player only, where both of you must work together to achieve the goal of whatever mode you're playing, though you can absolutely mess with each other. In all game modes, 3 tools are still given to you, but they're split between each player. The first tool goes to player 1, the third tool to player 2, and the second tool is given to both. This setup forces you to work together with your partner to beat each stage, especially since some stages have a new fruit that both players must touch for it to be collected. Some stages will also have 2 exit portals instead of just 1, requiring each player to take 1 portal. Some of these portals can be placed in really hokey spots, so sometimes both players will have to work together to get one of them over to it. Both raw random and speedrun mode can be played in multiplayer, which often brings those already chaotic modes even more chaos. Plus, you can enable custom level packs for maximum chaos, though some level packs are designed with multiplayer in mind. And as if that's not enough, multiplayer has access to a secret frog mode. By inputting the Konami code, player 2 will turn into a frog. In this mode, player 1 can't touch fruit to collect them, and needs to use their tools to get player 2 to the lemon in each stage. Fortunately, only player 1 needs to enter the frog portal to clear the stage, so there are plenty of sacrificial frog jumps and close calls. This is genuinely a wicked fun game mode. The frog is a little hard to control, but this mode adds so much strategy to an already strat-heavy game. If you've got someone to play the game with, I highly recommend giving the frog mode a try. It's surprisingly fun to play. Also, if the frog player gets jammed between a few objects or spams the jump button a bunch, they'll make many rapid frog noises. That's just about everything Mosa has to offer. Like I said at the start of the video, it's a simple premise. Just use random tools to solve random puzzles. And yet, there's a surprising amount of mechanical depth and strategy that comes with each tool and how they interact with each other. It's incredibly satisfying to figure out each puzzle with the tools you have. It's super easy to get sucked into the game and play it for a couple hours straight. It's also a fantastic multiplayer game. Working together to beat each stage feels great, and there's plenty of laughs to be had from messing each other up. There's even some extra strategy to be had by using specific tools on your co-op partner. Plus, with the Switch version of the game, it's really easy to bring it somewhere and play a few sets with some buddies. The soundtrack is very ethereal and almost haunting in a way, and yet it's also strangely calming. It adds on to the weird atmosphere the game has and makes it even more memorable. And the sound design is super satisfying. Every tool has a specific sound associated with it that gives each one a strong identity. The sounds for collecting fruit and entering the portal are just so nice. They're distinct enough to stand out from other sounds while still fitting the rest of the game's atmosphere. It's phenomenal stuff to listen to. I wanted to make this video to spread the word about Mosa and how fun it is. I think it slipped under the radars of the wider gaming landscape, and that's a damn shame. If this game seems fun and interesting to you and you have $8 to spare, go pick it up. It's a great game that has so much packed into it, I really can't recommend it enough. That's all I have to say about Mosa. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you played the game for yourself, let me know what you think of it. I'll see you all next time.